Hey everyone, let's just jump right into this explainer because we are looking at a completely fascinating connection today. One that honestly might totally change how you view your kids' after school schedule. Most of us naturally think of dance as, well, just a great way for kids to express themselves, get creative, or let's be real, burn off some of that endless energy so we can finally get 5 minutes of peace. But what if I told you it could actually be a secret weapon for their report cards? It's true. Today, we're unpacking the surprising, evidence-backed link between movement training and tangible academic gains. So the big question we're tackling today is, can dance actually improve a child's academic grades? I know, it sounds a little bit like a stretch at first. For decades, we've kind of compartmentalized dance, right? We treat it as an arts requirement or just a fun physical activity that totally takes a backseat to serious studying. But a growing body of evidence is actually pointing to direct, undeniable connections between regular dance practice and the very cognitive skills that support classroom learning. Now, just to be super clear, dance isn't going to magically replace math class, reading time, or good teaching, but it absolutely builds and fortifies the mental foundation required for all of those things to succeed. Now, we do have to distinguish between different types of movement here. Standard repetitive exercises, running laps on a track, riding a bike, jumping jacks, those are fantastic for cardiovascular health, no doubt about it. But dance? Dance is a fundamentally different beast when it comes to engaging the brain. Because think about it, dance requires a student to memorize complex sequences, follow a specific auditory rhythm, respond to visual cues, and adjust their body in real time. It is a rigorous cognitive workout happening right alongside a physical one. You're not just moving, you're continuously problem-solving on your feet. So to really understand this, we're going to look at four key areas today. First, engaging the developing brain. Second, physical readiness for school. Third, motivation and emotional regulation. And finally, actionable steps for success. Let's kick things off with part one, engaging the developing brain. To really get this mind-body connection, we have to talk about a crucial concept called executive function, which is basically a set of mental skills tied directly to learning, including sustained attention, working memory, and self-monitoring. Think of executive function as the air traffic control center of a kid's brain. These are the behind-the-scenes directors that manage information, control impulses, and direct behavior. And as it turns out, stepping into a dance studio is, well, it's basically like stepping into a masterclass for a child's executive function. Seriously, think about how this translates from the studio straight into the classroom. A kid in a dance class has to track music counts and manage physical transitions between steps. That exact mental juggling directly builds the working memory they need for following multi-step directions from a teacher. And what happens if a dancer forgets a sequence in the middle of a routine? They have to self-monitor, quickly recover without totally panicking, and get back in sync with their group. That perfectly mirrors classroom problem solving and the development of solid study habits. Even just the sustained listening required to lock onto a musical rhythm directly supports the intense focus a child needs to sit down and master reading comprehension. It's literally the exact same mental muscle being flexed in two entirely different environments. Moving right along to part two, physical readiness for school. So we've talked a lot about the brain, but the physical benefits of dance directly impact how capable and comfortable a kid feels just interacting with their daily classroom environment. Through dance, kids develop incredible balance, timing, and gross motor coordination. And why this actually matters for school is that this core physical control makes it vastly easier for kids to maintain proper posture at a desk, rather than, sliding completely out of their chairs by 10 a.m. It also aids in developing the fine motor control necessary for gripping a pencil for handwriting or using classroom tools comfortably. Plus, structured dance environments teach kids how to receive progressive feedback. They practice a step, a supportive instructor gives them a correction, and they try again. This repetitive cycle builds a profound physical and mental confidence that empowers them to tackle challenging academic work. They learn firsthand that struggling with a new concept, whether that's a pirouette or long division, is just a totally normal, expected part of the learning process. Now, for part three, motivation and emotional regulation. Any seasoned teacher will tell you that academic performance isn't just about raw intelligence. It's deeply tied to a student's emotional state, their stress levels, and their internal drive. A crucial concept here is the idea of dance as a vital nonverbal outlet to manage stress and build resilience. Let's face it, school can be incredibly stressful. Kids face complex social pressures and heavy academic hurdles every single day. Dance offers a socially engaging, genuinely fun space to process that stress physically without actually needing to articulate it in words. When a child feels capable and successful in the dance studio, it creates a really powerful, positive mindset. And that confidence is highly contagious. It absolutely spills over into other subjects. A student who learns they can master a difficult piece of choreography with enough practice develops incredible emotional resilience. When they inevitably face a setback, like, say, a bad grade on a test, they're far more likely to bounce back and approach their learning with a positive, determined mindset. Finally, part 4, actionable steps for success. We've explored the fascinating theory and the cognitive mechanics behind this mind-body connection, but how do we actually apply this? As parents and educators, how do we ensure kids capture these incredible benefits? Well, here is your practical playbook. First, quality matters. Choose structured programs with proper warm-ups, age-appropriate choreography, and supportive coaching, not just unstructured free play. You also want to encourage regular attendance and consistency so those neural pathways actually have the time and repetition they need to develop. As an adult, try to focus your praise strictly on their effort and participation, rather than demanding absolute perfection. And here's a pro tip for you. Use this momentum. Pair their dance schedule with their homework and reading schedules. Try having them do homework shortly after a dance class, when their brain is highly oxygenated, their stress is low, and their executive function is totally primed. This ensures the physical activity directly complements their school learning. And this all brings us to a really perfect summary of everything we've covered in this explainer today. This quote from the source material honestly just hits the nail on the head. By training attention, executive function, physical readiness, and motivation, dance may help students develop the foundation for stronger academic performance. That completely reframes how we view this art form, doesn't it? It's not just weekend entertainment. It is a holistic, rigorous training ground for the developing student. This information really makes you step back and look at our educational priorities in a whole new light. If memorizing sequences on a dance floor can fundamentally upgrade a child's working memory and resilience at a school desk, well, it begs a fascinating, provocative question. What other unexpected physical activities might hold the secret to unlocking a student's full academic potential? It is definitely something to think about the next time you're looking at a list of extracurriculars. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep exploring those mind-body connections, and I'll catch you next time.